dusty vaults, dead ends and false leads. But we all carry a key that can unlock a history long lost to us. It's our DNA. 12 New Zealanders have had their DNA tested, and that's going to help them to solve old family mysteries, uncover ancient forebears, and even find a fortune or two. Stay tuned for a fascinating ride. Now, learning about our DNA shows us that our differences pale by comparison to how much we share. So many of our ancestors were brave enough to set off for a new land. Singer Stan Walker and politician Jacinda Ardern are about to discover they have relatives all over the globe, people who boarded boats and planes to see what the other side of the world looked like.
This is me. These statues, I've seen them my whole life. I get to see them in real life. It's quite surreal, actually.
Turns out my relation was really the only one that ended up in New Zealand. The rest of his family came here.
Political bright spark Jacinda Ardern is keen to discover more about the people who have populated her past. Now, while she knows a great deal about her Scottish and Irish ancestors, I can also tell you that she has relatives who speak French and a number who saw the end of slavery in America. But let's first find out how Jacinda sees her family.
I definitely would describe myself as a really family-orientated person. My family's really, really important to me, but unfortunately in the last few years we've been all in different corners of the world. My parents are living in the Pacific Island, my sister lives in the UK, but of all of us, I think probably I'm the most family obsessed one of all of us. So yeah, family's really important to me. There's a little bit of mystery on my father's side of the family, never being entirely clear who my biological grandfather is. My sister was doing her science homework one day and asked my father for his blood type and then for my grandfather's, and with that simple wee piece of information, realised that it was quite impossible.
Jacinda, welcome.
Thank you, Richard.
Sit yourself down.
Thank you.
Make yourself at home. Now, how did you get into politics?
Well, sort of by accident, sort of by design. I've just always wanted, I guess, to change the world, as cliched as that sounds.
Did you?
Yeah, and I certainly didn't start out believing that I would be a politician. I just wanted to help, wanted to change things, and it eventually led down that path.
And in this world that you've entered, is there any particular highlights?
Well, I've never actually won. So I guess I'm waiting for a career highlight, as it were, but I'm an eternal optimist.
Well, Jacinda, there seems to be some sort of mystery regarding your father's ancestry. What do you know about that?
Not a lot, to be honest. We really don't know much about one side of my father's family at all, so it would be good to answer some questions.
I think we may be able to shed some light on that, but not give you too much too soon. Right, we've got some of your results, and if we look at the screen over there, we'll be able to see them. So, we've got 54% British and Irish, 29% Northwestern European, and that tallies with your family tree, of course, but there's a couple of interesting numbers. 10% French-German, 3.7% Scandinavian. You also have a small percentage of Eastern European DNA. Does that come as a surprise?
Yeah, it does.
So where do you think you might be headed?
If I were to put money on it, I would say Scotland or Ireland. That's always been where most of my ancestors are from, so that seems the most obvious place for me.
Yes, well, yes, there might be a couple of surprises here for you. I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to give you this device with which you're going to keep in touch with me and me with you.
Thank you.
And I wish you bon voyage.
Thank you very much,
Happy
Richard.
journey.
Thank
Lots
you.
of discoveries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Well, Jacinda better pack a sun hat because she's about to discover that her father's ancestors rather like the coast around the Mediterranean. Well, who doesn't?